All right, Eat Nation, we have a couple things that are just awesome offers for you guys. First off, I just want to say, if you haven't heard of Nitrogen Sports, it is one of the most innovative sports betting sites out there in the world. Let's say you live in one of the states where sports betting is illegal. This is for you. Because what you do is you're allowed to bet here, and it pays you out in Bitcoin. And then I can hear some of you guys saying, well, that's confusing. It's not. There are things like Cash App that you can transfer your Bitcoin out automatically. It's very easy, and you don't have to wait on a check coming in the mail 3 weeks later. It is instantaneous. They have sports betting for everything, obviously the major sports, but all the way down to things like cricket and archery and lots of other things. So all you got to do is type in Nitrogen Sports or go to nitrogensports.eu, and it's the best time to get into Bitcoin betting this month because, again, they are offering their biggest, over $75,000 in guaranteed prizes for NFL survivor pools, which if you've never done a survivor pool, it's an absolute blast. So head over to nitrogensports.eu and get started today. Let them know your friends over at Eat Sleep Fantasy sent you there. Good luck.
Yeah, Eat Sleep Fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat Sleep Fantasy. Yeah, Eat Sleep Fantasy. Eat Sleep Fantasy.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Eat Sleep Fantasy Football Podcast, also known as the Miami Dolphins and Tequila of Fantasy Football Podcasts.
One of those things is good. The other one is the Dolphins.
My name is Christian Brito, and joining me as always is Mr. John Chapman. What's up, John?
What's up, man? This is going to be a fun episode. Lots of tequila. We're going to trash talk some teams, probably your team. And it's going to get weird.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to get weird, mostly because we're both drinking straight tequila.
Yeah, I think that's the point we are in our life. And can I say something? I want to say something.
Yeah.
Why are you drinking straight tequila? Because I know why I'm doing it. And I think we have similar answers, perhaps.
Are you depressed as well? No, I'm just bad joke.
Not yet. Trying to lose weight. And I got to say, man, Brito has freaking... You're a sexy son of a bitch right now, man.
103 pounds.
You kind of inspired me a little bit. So I have also stopped drinking beer because the calories and dieting and exercise a lot more. I've lost about 15 pounds over the last 6 weeks, which I'm pumped about. What number are you at?
103.
Fuck. You don't weigh 103. You lost 103.
Yes, I lost 103. Let's clarify that. My penis itself weighs 103 pounds. So
very true, very true. So congrats there. But yeah, I found just drinking straight liquor is much more healthy calorie-wise than drinking beer. So yeah, straight tequila.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with you, but like I'm kind of cheating today, and I'm having a slice of pizza while we talk.
Yeah, I could tell that.
You can hear it?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the listening audience loves this. So this is Eat Sleep Fantasy.
New York
we
style,
got a lot of stuff.
Just cheese. Oh, it's kind of greasy.
I don't believe in New York style at all, man. But we've got some good stuff. We're going to go over some news and top 5 offenses for 2019 and bottom 5 offenses, the ones to avoid. Let's jump into some news, Brito. Take it away, sir.
By the way, I just want to point out, you took all the fun out of my top 5 game and you applied it to fantasy, and like that's not the point of the game. And then you wrote an article on it. Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now we have a podcast on it. Anyways.
Yeah.
News, fantasy football news. There is a little bit of news, I guess, this season. I think the biggest one we got to talk about again, the Zeke holdout.
Ugh, it's getting worse, man.
It looks like it's getting worse, man. So the latest thing that came out on Friday, and this is coming from the Star Telegram, is that, and this is straight from the horse's mouth, Jerry Jones's mouth. His nickname should be the horse, by the way. Straight from the horse's mouth, is that he said the Zeke holdout could last, quote unquote, months into the season. And so they're far apart in their talks. We saw what happened last year with Le'Veon Bell. How worried are you? Let's just say this is the disaster scale about Ezekiel Elliott now.
I think I'm a volcano, which I believe is a 4, which is where I'd put it. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna have to show up. I think everything's on the side of the Cowboys. He has zero leverage because he has 2 years left on his deal. So I don't know. Maybe something gets worked out, but it's not Melvin Ingram. I'll tell you that one. Melvin Ingram is freaking scary.
Okay. And we're back. John literally made me stop the podcast because I was eating.
That is true.
For those of you unaware, I do things a lot of times for the joke. John did not take that joke lightly. John is actually visibly uncomfortable in front of me. So we had to stop the show so I could finish eating my pizza. And now I don't know what to do with my tequila because I need to take a sip at some point. But
drinking is okay. Drinking's fine. You can drink. It's just, I'm the type of person, I'll go to a movie theater, I will walk up to a human being and tell them to chew with their mouth closed, like in the movies.
Yeah, you're a dick is what you are. Anyways.
I don't do it in a mean way. I just walk up and I say, hey, sorry to bother you. Would you mind please chewing with your mouth closed? I can hear you over the Incredible fucking Hulk, you monster. So, usually it goes well.
Okay. More kind of concerns on this list. Antonio Brown still not practicing, still kind of sidelined with a foot injury. It's been said that he has blisters on his feet.
He posted a picture on his Instagram, which is really gross. This is the second time, by the way, that Antonio Brown has posted gross pictures of his feet on his Instagram. But he had to go see a specialist about this. So a little bit more cause for concern than I think we would have thought originally. Now, the good thing is this. Hard Knocks airs next Tuesday. So we are pretty close to that, and they are with the Raiders, and I am pretty pumped about getting a little bit more information because it's going to be very Antonio Brown and John Gruden centric. So this is something that's interesting. He'll be able to play, no problem there, but you don't want this to linger on for sure.
In more news, it seems like perhaps there is a bit of a death of the Ricky Seals-Jones hype for anybody who was a truther for him, which, I mean, it's like 3 guys at this point. But if you were, the Cardinals released their first depth chart, and he's the 3rd tight end on their depth chart.
Yeah, it's basically the writing is on the wall. Now, I will say the depth chart that they put out, the Cardinals, is crazy because Kevin White is listed as a starter. Yeah. So there's that. You have Keyshawn Johnson, who's making a lot of headlines. He's shooting up ADP charts and all those things. But the 2 people that are not showing out is Andy Isabella and Hakeem Butler. Hakeem Butler seems like he's going to be a red zone specific guy. But yeah, Keyshawn Johnson, cousin, no relation, sorry, to the Keyshawn Johnson. This is Keyshawn number 2. But him and Kevin White, worth a late round flyer if you have a deep league.
All right. I got 2 more pieces of news, and then before I get there, do you have any takeaways at all from the Hall of Fame game?
Yes. I'm the weird dude that was like pumped up. Like I made my kids put away their phones, sit down and watch this because I love it, man. I love football. So as far as fantasy relevance, Noah Fant is going to be legit. And did he have like a good statistical game as far as catches and things like that? No, he didn't. But he was out there to start the game, and he could block like he's a boss, man. Usually with tight ends, especially rookie tight ends, they don't get a lot of work, the receiving ones, because they're kind of a casualty or they hinder the offense whenever it comes to blocking. That's not going to be a case with an Iowa tight end. So Noah Fant, like I fully expect him to be out there the first snap and be very heavily involved in that offense, whether it's blocking or receiving. So that's the number one fantasy thing I took away. Number two is Drew Lock sucks. So, yeah.
All right. I got a piece of news here that I want to spend some time on, and I think I want to leave it for last. So, second to last, I'll talk about Dale's boy, which I think is an inconsequential move. Cameron Meredith, after being cut by the Saints, has signed with the Patriots. That's a big who cares from me. Do you care?
Not at all. I mean, you've got Joshua Gordon. I don't know if this is your last piece of news or not, but he's applied for reinstatement today, so that's a possibility. This is what the Patriots do. They probably lead the NFL in transactions during the preseason because they will just see about every single tight end and every single running back and every single wide receiver. And so they bring them in, see what they got, and turn it over. And the problem that I have is this. Cameron Meredith is coming from the Saints that has the least amount of depth up top at the wide receiver position. It's literally just Michael Thomas and a bunch of dudes. So the fact that he couldn't catch on there is a huge red flag. So,
yep. Dale, he stinks. All right.
Yeah.
So the piece of news that I kind of want to focus on, just because I think it is an extremely important position for the 2019 fantasy season, Spencer Ware right now on the PUP list. What is going to happen with the Colts backfield, because they are apparently kicking the tires, and Jay Ajayi visited the team. You got Carlos Hyde, who supposedly is third on their depth chart behind Spencer Ware. And
wait, which one are you talking about? You talking about the Colts, or are you talking about
the
Chiefs? You went in between there.
I'm sorry. I did go back and forth. I'm so sorry.
That's funny. Everybody's head just exploded.
Yeah, can we rewind?
Mm-hmm.
Because literally I'm reading the news.
That last piece of news was brought to you by Casa Amigos. If you need to forget,
no, don't keep this in. I'm going to tell you why. It has. Look, read this. This is not my fault.
What am I reading?
Just read the chat. Everything on there says Colts, and so I got confused.
I don't know what chat you're on. Oh, I see it.
So now I don't know how to read that news. Because clearly...
Yeah, he plays for the Colts.
Yeah, and Carlos Hyde plays for the Colts, right?
No. Carlos Hyde plays for the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Right. Fuck this. I see what happened here. Spencer Ware used to play for the Chiefs.
There you go.
And I got really confused. This is definitely brought to you by Casamigos.
Oh, man, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Okay, Dale, I have an idea here. Since clearly... No, I have an idea, actually. Cut everything here, but instead play that like sound that TVs play when they're having like technical difficulties. And just like, dun, 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 dun. We're experiencing technical difficulties, and we'll be right back. Like, play that, and then I'm going to come back in with those technical difficulties were explained by... Okay, you good? Can we do that? Does that sound good, John?
I feel so bad for Dale right now, but
I'm gonna put a time here.
Okay.
14 minutes. All right, so we're back. We just had some technical difficulties, and by technical difficulties, what I mean is I fucked up like 8 times right now and was really wrong on a lot of things I was saying, so I just literally had Dale edit the pod because that portion of the podcast was presented to you by Casamigos. Casamigos is a very smooth, fantastic tequila that I am drinking right now, but apparently it went straight to my head.
I loved that you didn't own up at first. You doubled down and blamed a website.
Because I got confused.
I love it. I love it, man. Stand firm, brother. Tequila, giving you all of the desire to make mistakes with confidence.
Dude, I was really confident about it. Now I'm very not confident about the rest of this podcast because I have drank half of a glass of straight tequila. Speaking of which, I feel like we should just, like, I know they're not a sponsor, but, like, do an ad for Casamigos because you like them too, right?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
So right now I am drinking Casamigos de Reposado. They have 3. They have the Blanco, the Reposado, and the Añejo. I'm a Reposado guy. I think you're an Añejo guy.
If it's a good tequila, I go Reposado. If it's a bad tequila, I go Añejo. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So definitely go Reposado on this one then because
Yes.
it is amazing. And I challenge you all to actually look up a little bit of the history of Casamigos.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, and it was kind of like started by George Clooney, and it's just really good. It's really good, man. And I wasn't a tequila guy before. This is what literally made me a tequila guy. So there's that. Free ad for Casamigos, by the way. You guys should pay us. But honestly, if you're going to go out and you want to, like, get something good to have with the buddies and drink a glass of, or even if you want to take shots and that's not your style, but you want to try taking some shots, Casamigos can do that as well.
I have yet to have a hangover, and I am what you would consider a drinker on Casamigos.
What gave it away? The fact that you're drinking tequila with a straw right now?
I am. I have a giant 20-ounce water glass with tequila in there and a little bit of ice, and it's delicious. Casamigos.
All right. So let's get back into the news, our last piece of news. Spencer Ware moved to the reserve/pup list. Colts are kicking the tires on some running backs, Jay Ajayi, Mike Gillislee. What do you think is going to happen with the Colts run game here? Because everybody is just seemingly all in on Marlon Mack. Are you a Marlon Mack guy this year?
From a fantasy standpoint, not as much as Dell. From a football standpoint, 100%. I read a crazy stat to where, Marlon Mack missed 4 games last year. The Colts went 0-4. When Marlon Mack played, I think they went 12-0. Is that right? I think that's correct. They went 12-4, I think, last year. Or 11-1. So they won every game he suited up in. But the problem is this. What they want to do, again, think about where the head coach is coming from, the Philadelphia Eagles. They want 4 to 5 backs that excel at 1 or 2 small things, and that's what they do. So Marlon Mack is going to be their big play guy. Then you have Nyheim Hines that's going to get a lot of targets and receptions. And then it's a combination between Justin Wilkins, who's probably got the spot now, and then whoever they bring in. So they want more than just 3 running backs. They'll have 4 to 5 active a week, especially with special teams. But they're going to use everybody that's back there. So they're going to sign somebody. It shouldn't affect where Marlon Mack is being drafted right now. But if your idea is Marlon Mack is going to be a top 10 fantasy running back, you need to check yourself a little bit.
You need to check yourself before you
wreck yourself. Casamigos, helping people wreck themselves since, like 4 years ago. It's pretty new, actually.
Yeah. Before that, I drank Patron, which is okay.
Nah.
You don't like Patron?
Nope.
I know you hate Cuervo.
I won't touch Cuervo. Like, you couldn't pay me $100 to drink Cuervo. I will get so sick. I'll get sick.
That's funny, actually. Yeah. I'm going to make you drink Cuervo in Vegas.
You better bring a lot of money, my friend.
Is that all it takes, money to get you to do stuff?
No. I'll do things just for whatever.
Okay.
So just
trying to figure out how much it would take.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. There was one time in lunch in middle school where kids didn't eat their food and they made this stupid contraption on their plate, and they were like, "Hey Chapman, I dare you to eat this." And I was like, "Man, I don't want to eat that." And they're like, "Dude, I'll give you $1." And I was like, "Dude, if it's that big of a deal to you, I'll eat it, whatever, for the story." And so I ate it, and then everybody called me Fat Chap. And then from there on, it was just ask Chapman, he'll eat anything. And I fucking ate it one time. But, it stuck around. So I love the story.
You suck one dick, and then everybody call...
I think 3 dicks makes you gay. 2 is like first time you're experimenting. Second time you weren't sure if it was a bad experience. Third time you're committed.
And what does 47 make you?
The host of Eat Sleep Fantasies podcast.
Luckily, that's Dale. Anyways, let's move on. We are going to get into your top 5, bottom 5, because John made a new thing here. We got a new segment, top 5, bottom 5.
This is not like affect your top 5 whatever.
Yes. No, it does. Now we've added to it bottom 5. Okay, you ready for it? Like, so it's lists that are like more extended now. We can start having a top 5, bottom 5.
Okay,
so
this
like,
is top 7.
Real quick,
is that
give me
different?
like bottom 5 places to shop.
Bottom
like bottom
5?
5 Kmart. I hate Kmart. You're just a knockoff Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. I have not been inside a Walmart in over 8 years. I had to recently, and I regretted it. I purchased nothing, but I was with a friend that wanted to go, and I was like, dude, I just don't want to go in there. It stresses me out. I don't want to go in there. I don't like CVS's or Walgreens. What? Don't want to touch those.
Okay, so you just gave, like, Walmart's in my top 5. Like, I love Walmart.
Jesus Christ. You like Coldplay and Walmart?
And
Jesus.
Mission Impossible, if you haven't heard.
Oh, my God, you're awful.
For those of you that are not aware, I like Mission Impossible movies, and John was a high school football coach. So just you need to know those two things. They'll be on podcast trivia for sure.
All right, can we just move on? I hate this conversation already. Let's talk football, damn it.
Top 5. Top 5.
Yes.
So what we're going to do here right now, John is going to tell you his top 5 offenses, counting them down from 5 to 1, his top 5 offenses, and then his bottom 5 offenses.
Yes, yeah. And I've got a little extras in there, but I wanted to give you guys just kind of a snapshot of 2018 quickly. And so whenever you say top 5 offenses, it means lots of things. You can go by points scored or total yards gained. Okay, so people will manipulate that, whatever. So for 2018, the top offenses. So Chiefs were number 1 in both categories, most points and yards. Rams were number 2 in both of those. Mm-hmm. Then it starts to mix up a little bit. The Saints scored the 3rd most points, but the 8th most yards. Pats were 4th most points, 5th most yards. Colts 5th most yards, 7 for points. So those are your top 5. A couple honorable mention. The Bucks were actually 3rd in yards, but 12th in points. So I included them. That's a little bit of a surprise. The Bucks got the 3rd most yards.
Fitz magic, baby.
Yeah. Oh, Jameis Winston, too. They both just aired it out. And the Steelers had the 4th most yards and 6th most points. So we look at those 7, and then you kind of judge that. I feel like the Steelers lost the most from this group.
I agree.
So
they're the like kind of maybe an honorable mention, top 10 offense, but not. I don't think they're going to be top 5 this year in either of those categories.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen for 2019. I'm going to start with my number 5. I'm going to give you my number 5 team, and you're going to say agree or disagree, and then we're going to battle. Cool?
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm iffy on the battle part, but okay.
Okay, number 5 for 5th best offense in 2019. I have the Green Bay Packers. Agree or disagree?
I literally was going to say, if you put Green Bay on this list, they don't deserve to be on this list.
Okay, why do they not deserve it?
Where were they in points per game last year? That's all you need to know. They were barely above the middle of the pack. They were 14th. They don't capitalize on their yards. 5,900 yards last year. I don't see that going up. Green Bay is not a top 5 offense in 2019.
And so here's why I would disagree with you. They are changing the way that they run offense. They brought over a new head coach who coached with Kyle Shanahan and was with St. Louis last year. So not with St. Louis. Sorry. He was with the Titans. I apologize. But the same coaching tree brought to you by
New drop idea. Hold on. New drop idea. Are you familiar with the NIOP?
No.
Okay, we have like a bunch of listeners that are familiar with what I just said. Dale, find that. That's a new drop. Whenever we make a mistake, that's my exclusive drop, NIOP.
Okay. But yeah, so Matt LaFleur, he's going to be the new Green Bay head coach, and I really do think that he's going to be able to make the entire offense fit what Aaron Rodgers does both and move the ball around a lot. So I love that his coaching pedigree is what it is, and I hate to say it, I love what they have on offense. I think MVS takes a huge leap this year, but I like it. I like the Packers at 5. Number 4, I have the Chargers. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Ooh, that's not fun. Why do you agree?
I see that offense taking a nice little step forward. They were just outside the top 10 last year. They were only 10 yards behind Carolina. I think you add Hunter Henry, you add a couple pieces, and it just makes them crack that top 5.
Yeah, I like it. Cracking. Number 3, I have the Indianapolis Colts moving from number 5 to number 3. I freaking love this offense.
I agree. I think they might be in my top 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I just copy and pasted from last year. I have the Chiefs number 1 and the Rams number 2. I definitely see both of those teams putting up crazy numbers. They both have
missed a team in this list, by the way.
I think they're in my honorable mention category.
And is it the Saints that you think I'm talking about?
No, I left the Saints out.
Yeah, so they're not in your honorable mentions either?
No, they're not.
Wow. Yeah. I'm shocked. The Saints would probably be my 2.
Okay.
If not the Colts. It would be between those two. I'm keeping Kansas City 1. I don't like your Green Bay in there. I like the Chargers in there. I think they take a step forward, and if we're talking about points per game, the Chargers were tied for 6th last year. Why do you think the Saints do not belong in this list? Because I think that's important here.
So the Saints were involved in a lot of shootouts last year. Their defense didn't catch on until around Week 8. After Week 8, they were one of the best defenses in the NFL and in the playoffs. And so in order to win a lot of early games, the Saints were in shootouts. But they kind of changed their script a little bit and became much more ball control. Their red zone efficiency is one of the best in the NFL, and they don't turn the ball over. But I really do think that they're going to not necessarily slow things down. I don't think that's the right terminology, but the idea of going back and forth in shootouts, I don't think it's going to be that anymore. I think that's fair. Their idea is like a 21-17, 21-14 type game instead of the 35-31 game.
That's gross. I was going to say I could see them taking a small step back and not have the 31.5 points per game and go down to maybe 28 or 27 points per game, but that would still put them as a top 5 team.
Yeah, I have no problem if you have them up there. I do have their offense taking a big step back, though. I struggle with them maintaining that efficiency that they had last year. I just don't see it personally. But, again, I can be wrong. I do love Drew Brees as an NFL talent, Alvin Kamara, and, obviously their wide receiver, Michael Thomas, I think is great. But I just don't think that that's how they're going to win. If they're involved in a shootout, I think that's why they lost the game, against the Rams. You could blame it on the officials or whatever, but if you leave a game up to the officials, if you leave it to where it's so close that the officials can screw you, that's your fault. And also, that's just not how they're going to win. I think that they have to change the way that they manage games. I think they have the best roster in the NFL, but you need to play to your strength, not the Rams, not the Chiefs, not those types of teams. I just don't see it.
Now let's focus a little bit on your top 2 here, because both of those top 2 had tremendous impacts, in my opinion, from the running back position, and both of those are kind of iffy for those teams moving forward into 2019. So let's talk a little bit about the Rams and Todd Gurley. What do you see happening with Gurley? Is he going to be healthy all this season long? Is he going to be limited all season long? And how then does that affect the offense?
I think the fact that he showed up on training camp day 1 was one of the best signs any of the Gurley or Rams truthers could have had. So my concerns for Todd Gurley are, hey, he's going to get 70 to 80% of his workload. That's fine. Their running back depth after that, I have no issues with either. They drafted John Kelly late last year, who has a lot of talent. They go get Darrell Henderson this year early. I think that those guys can definitely make up for what's there. So I'm not really worried about that. And here's the deal. I mean, that offense is stacked. And one of my favorite things that the Rams do is if a starter goes down, they have somebody in place. If one of their starting 3 wide receivers goes down, Josh Reynolds proved last year he can step in right away. And
Best receiving core in football, you think?
They don't have a lot of top-end talent. Like I don't think
Brandon Cooks is a top-end talent, man.
I don't think he's a top 12 wide receiver.
Oh, I disagree.
As far as just NFL
underrated,
talent,
yeah, one of the more underrated wide receivers in football.
He's great. I'm not saying he's bad, but what I mean by here's what I'm going to say: they have a lot of wide receivers in that 12 to 30 ranking,
right?
Which I love.
They've got 3 wide receivers. If you don't count Brandon Cooks in the top 12, I think 3
Robert
in the top
Woods
36.
is the best wide receiver they have personally.
I disagree.
I love that. I love the way he plays, man.
And then Cooper Kupp gets, he's people stop guarding him because he's white. But
he's just good against zone. If you just manned up and you put a freaking if you just put one of your best corners on him, man, he disappeared, which is exactly what the Patriots did. They said, screw this zone over the middle BS. We're going to man up. They put their number 2 corner on Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl, and oh, well, he was injured. Sorry, it was Josh Reynolds in the Super Bowl, but still, that disappeared that slot position. They just took it out of the game. But
yeah. So okay, and then let's have this same conversation now for the Chiefs. So you don't see much of anything changing for the Rams. Let's talk about the Chiefs. Mahomes had an otherworldly 2018 season. And Kareem Hunt was great last year. So let's take this piece by piece for this offense because you see them still being the number 1 offense next year.
I do. I really, really do. The offensive line is basically returning. They lost a center, like a backup center at best, but whatever. And here's the issue. That offense runs because of 2 people predominantly. Okay, Andy Reid is number 1. And Patrick Mahomes is number 2. You could say Kelsey is number 3, whatever. You can keep going down that list. But as long as Andy Reid is anywhere in the NFL, it is going to be a very high-volume offense because he's very creative and he schemes very, very well. One of the interesting, kind of hidden statistics is Andy Reid's record off of a bye is the best in NFL history. The guy, he prepares very, very well. And so as long as those 2 are there, I have no problems. Now, they had some concerns with Tyreek Hill and whatever. I don't want to get into that. Kareem Hunt's gone. Yes, this is a team that loves domestic abusers. They trade for Frank
all the
Clark.
Tyreek stuff has been beat to death.
Oh, jeez. Awesome. That was good. That was really good.
I'm sorry. And we've been kicking around all the Kareem Hunt stuff forever, so let's just move on.
That was good as well. You're doing really well. You got any Frank Clark jokes?
No, frankly, I don't.
Solid. Anyway, so Damian Williams is out with a hamstring, and Andy Reid came out today and said, very frustrated sounding, Carlos Hyde's looked great. I don't think any running back that you put back there is going to be successful because they will never face a loaded box ever. So are they as good as Kareem Hunt? I don't think so, but they don't have to be. That offense is going to operate like clockwork. It's going to be really, really good. And they improved their wide receiver core, which is crazy to think of with Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill. They go get Mecole Hardman. I really think good things are ahead for this offense. And, of course, Travis Kelce, second best tight end in the NFL. You got to give him his dues.
Wait. Who's the best?
Kittle. George
Oh,
Kittle.
get the fuck out of here. Fucking homer.
He's much better blocker than Kelce, and he broke the all-time record for most receiving yards in his second year with a third-string quarterback. Yeah, I'm good.
Hasn't Kelce been the number 1 tight end for 3 years in a row?
For fantasy, yes.
Okay, I'm done. Number 1, baby. Can't beat it. If you ain't first, you're last.
In fantasy, yes.
If you ain't first, You're last.
Well, where did Travis Kelce finish his first 2 years as?
That's not the argument. Let's
okay,
move on.
cool.
Fuck. Okay.
All right, Eat Nation, the fantasy football season is about to start. Drafts are getting started as the preseason and training camp rolls through, and we have something for you that's going to help you no matter what, and that is Fantasy Go. Whether you want to make money or you want to get better at fantasy, this is the site for you. Head over to fantasygo.com. You get to pick, do you want to be an analyst or do you want help? Very, very easy to sign up. It's very awesome website. It's very streamlined, and all you do is you pick which category you want to be in. If you want to be an analyst, you get paid to help other people with their fantasy football decisions. If you are a person that's tired of getting made fun of in your office pool or your family pool or whatever, you just click on that you want help, and you get a pick the analysts that you want, and the price points and all those things are there. A lot of the Eat Sleep Fantasy writers and owners are on there as well, and you can pick us if you would like that help. But head over there, fantasygo.com. The site is fully functional and ready to go. Go make some money or get better in fantasy. Good luck. Head over to fantasygo.com.
I tried to move on before you got deeper here.
I love
I don't
Kelce,
know. If
though.
you
I
wanted
do
to
love
know that
Kelce.
information, you know where you could find out, John? You can go to our website, eatsleepfantasy.com. It's a website, and then you can click on the top, we've got this thing called Fantasy Finishes Chart by John Chapman. Then you could sort that. I feel like I do this on every episode, by the way.
I don't know
Literally
why
every.
you do it, but it's turned into a bit, and I kind of like it.
All right, and then you go and you click tight end, and then you can see Travis Kelce, 2015, he was number 8.
I like it. I like it.
So it was good.
Now, before we jump off of the top projected offenses, I do have 4 honorable mentions along with the Saints, which you brought up. The Falcons, Bucks, Texans, and Vikings, I think, could all make an appearance in this top 5.
Okay, I'm going to need you to explain one to me because I can potentially see it, but I need it explained to me so I can understand. Explain the Bucks to me.
So, they go get Bruce Arians,
Mm-hmm.
and he is one of the great offensive play callers. And again, if we look at what happened last year, the Bucks had the 3rd most yards in the NFL, even though they were abysmal. They still have a terrible defense, and one of the things that is interesting to me is if you have a bad defense, it usually helps your offense create more yards because you're in more shootouts, you have to play catch-up, things like that. So while I have the Bucks being one of the worst teams in the NFL, I do think that offense will do very, very well, and they are going to throw the ball a ton. Their wide receivers, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, I think are just going to dominate. I could see both surpassing 1,000 yards with ease. So I just really like that offense. Now, interceptions, sacks, lack of a running game, that's going to hurt, but they're going to have to air it out.
Okay. All right. And then tell me a little bit about some of these honorable mentions that you mentioned honorably.
That was good. The Falcons, they go get Dirk Cutter back as an offensive coordinator, and the Falcons' offense has been legit. They were top 10 last year in points scored, and I think the return of Devontae Freeman, if he can stay healthy, they upgraded their offensive line in the draft. They spent 2 high picks on O-linemen. I really do think their wide receiver core, we talked about some of the best ones. They've got to be up there. Julio, he's a top 3 wide receiver, guaranteed. Calvin Ridley.
Top 5? Top 5? Question mark?
He's top 3.
Top 5. I'm doing my game.
You don't think he's top 5?
The game is called Top 5.
You want to do top 5?
Top 5 wide receivers go.
Okay, NFL quality wide receivers, not
Yes,
fantasy-wise. Not fantasy?
Just go. Yes.
Okay, number 1, DeAndre Hopkins.
I hate that you start with 1. Count it down.
No. It's my list. You asked my list.
Fine.
DeAndre Hopkins 1. Julio Jones 2.
Oh, I already disagree with your list.
That's okay. Devontae Adams 3.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I'm saying this. Odell Beckham 4. And I'm saying Michael Thomas 5. I left Antonio Brown off the list.
Why is Antonio Brown not on your list?
Because he was the most intercepted wide receiver when targeted last year.
That's not his fault. That's
Yes,
fucking
it is.
Big Ben being not good.
That's fine. And the fact
forcing
that
the ball.
he is a bad teammate also affects that as well. That's my list. That's my
Why
list.
is Juju not on your list?
I like Juju. He's honorable mention. I think he can be up there. I do like Juju a lot.
Top 5. Counting down from 5. Number 5, Devontae Adams. Number 4, Odell Beckham. Number 3, Michael Thomas. Number 2, Antonio Brown. And number 1, DeAndre Hopkins.
You left Julio Jones
Hey,
off
number
of your...
3.
No, he
No,
wasn't.
number 4. I'm sorry. Number 4.
No, he wasn't. You didn't say
5?
Julio. You did not say Julio.
Who did I put in at 5?
You don't even know your damn list.
I feel like I need to rewind the tape. I'm pretty sure I said Julio.
You said You said this is going to cause a problem. I can.
All right,
tell.
take out Devontae Adams and put Julio in.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I just skipped Julio. I forget.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So anyway, now let's jump to the negative side. Are you? I feel like you're much more.
I need a little more tequila for this because this is going to be a lot of Miami Dolphins.
They're bad. Can you believe the Miami Dolphins had the 7th worst offense points in 2018?
I believe it, and they were 7-9 because they tried last year. You know what they're not doing this year? They're not going to try. The Dolphins are going to win 2 games. I'm ready for it. I am ready for the tequila on Sundays this fall.
It's going to be rough, man. Just wear your Alabama Tua jersey. It'll make you feel better. So,
I would never fuck Alabama.
yeah, that's the worst
The
state.
school and the state.
Yep, I'm with you, man. It's a deal
Top 5
breaker.
worst states. Alabama, number 5. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Alabama. Number 2, Alabama. And number 1, Birmingham, Alabama.
The funny thing is, if you gave that list in Alabama, they would not notice that there were supposed to be different states on each one.
Yeah. They'd just be like, how dare you, partner? No, I don't know why.
That's Texas.
Partner.
That's
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. Well, they're the only ones. I'm drunk, man.
All right, let's keep going with drunk Brito. So, let's look at 2018, the worst offenses. And so just understand whenever we give... So the Cardinals, first off, you have to start. Like, the Cardinals were so bad. Like,
How bad were they?
they were 800 yards worse than the number 2 one. That was good. I had no joke. I had no joke.
The Cardinals are so bad.
How bad were they?
How bad were they?
Alabama could count the total number of yards on one hand.
Damn, son.
Yeah,
That's a quality joke.
that was awful. I'm sorry.
That's a good joke. 14 points a game for Alabama.
Yes.
I mean, for Arizona. Might as well have been the same team last year.
One of the worst
Probably could've put the
offenses
Alabama
in
against
NFL
the
history.
Yeah.
They were awful, awful, awful. So they
You
finished.
don't reach
Go ahead.
4,000 total yards on the season, not passing yards. Total yards of offense on the season, that's bad.
Yeah, they were just dead last in every statistical category, and it's not close with really any of them. Besides interceptions, they did not finish last in interceptions. So here we go. Cards were dead last in total yards and total points. The Jaguars finished second in points and 6th in yards. Again, these are second from last. Bills were third in both categories. The Redskins were 4th in points and 5th in yards. Raiders 5th in points and 10th in yards. So that's the top 5. They were abysmal.
I'm going to give you my guess. I don't want you to read the list to me on top 5 worst for 2019, but when you get there, I'm going to give you my list of what I think your list is going to be.
Okay. Well, I'm there. The honorable mention for 2018 were the Dolphins and Jets. They were just abysmal. So, go ahead, man. Let's hear your top 5, and I'll say yay or nay if they are on my list.
At 5 worst, I'd put the Dolphins.
They are on my list, but not at 5.
At 4, I will put the Cincinnati Bengals.
They made my honorable mention.
Okay. At 3, I will put the Buffalo Bills.
Honorable mention again.
At 2, I will put the Tennessee Titans.
They are on my list.
And at 1, I will put the New York Giants.
The Giants are on my list as well.
All right, so I got most of it.
You did. You got most of it. You didn't say Dolphins.
Yeah, they're 5.
Oh, yeah. So, my 5 is the Giants, the New York Football Giants. Yeah,
Good
they're
call.
pretty rough.
Yep. This list makes me uncomfortable.
It's bad, man.
It's bad. We should have started with the bad news, then got into like the good news. This is like depressing. This is like what you want to stay away from in fantasy, but like sometimes you can't. You gotta draft a Sterling Shepard even though his thumb is fucked up and you don't know who his quarterback's gonna be and the offense is bad. And, you know, maybe you got Saquon Barkley in Dynasty, and I don't know why I'm talking like this.
I like why you're talking like that. It's because you're thinking about penises. But the main reason why we go through this is who to avoid. And so what you have to do is you have to target the high volume plays in this offense, and we'll talk about each one of those. So the Giants, their bottom 5 offense, it's going to be awful. However, Saquon Barkley is going to get his no matter what. We saw that last year. Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, their volume will be high. Outside of that, it's a guessing game. Number 4, I have the Tennessee Titans, which you had on there as well. Is there anybody on this team that you would like to have in your fantasy team? Not like you're targeting them, but like if they fall far enough, you're like, all right, I guess.
Only the running back. I mean, there's not much else there. I don't think I would draft a single wide receiver on their team. I'm not touching it. But Derrick Henry, I think I have inside my top 20. So if he's falling 18, 20, if I see him fall out of the top 20 running backs, I'm definitely taking Derrick Henry because the one thing the Titans did decently last year was run the ball, especially towards the second half of the year.
Okay, let me ask you this then. With the previous team, the Giants and the Titans, who would you rather have if you're on the clock, and these are your 2 choices, Corey Davis or Sterling Shepard?
Sterling Shepard. I hate Corey Davis.
If
he's healthy.
They're going 3 picks apart from each other
Yes.
in the 9th round. So
I am not a Corey Davis guy. I'm sorry.
I think that Corey Davis has a higher ceiling. I think, but if you're in a PPR, a half-point PPR, Sterling Shepard's so much safer. Anyway,
Okay.
All right.
Rushing yards per game last year, Tennessee was 7th in the league. It's the one decent part of their offense.
And that's based on volume. I don't even think it's like high yards per carry. It's just
It's just totally rushing yards per game is all
Yeah.
I'm looking at. Yeah.
Number 3, I have the Jags. What say you, sir?
Yeah. Name a star.
Fournette. That's going to be it.
Is he a star? You think he's a star?
His draft, he was top 10 running back picked in the draft.
Okay.
His play has not. I
They-
do think that he could lead the NFL in touches this year, though, if he stays healthy and not dumb.
So Jacksonville is not top half. I'm not talking about top 10. They're not top half in anything. Not rushing yards per game, not points per game, not passing yards a game, not total yards per game. Nothing are they in the top half of the league. They don't do anything well. That's why they deserve to be on this list. But, yeah, they are the most – I think they're the most offense outside of the Tennessee Titans. They're the most offense in the league.
I don't know. I think there's one more team that I think will pass that. Not this next one. This next team will be more entertaining, but the Dolphins. You disagree with me on this. I have them number 2 overall. I hate their offensive line. I think their wide receiver
Their offensive line
cores-
sucks, but you saw what happened with Fitzmagic last year. I think he can still chuck the ball.
He's not going to start the whole year. He'll start the first half when they're no longer in playoff contention. They will start Josh Rosen, and then it's going to get bad.
Yes, but don't interception yards count too?
I'll tell you this. Fitzmagic's going to throw more interceptions than Rosen. He's the interception leader, man. But, yeah, I hate the Dolphins. Like, this is the only team where I'm like, I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody.
You think the Dolphins at some point this year when they wanted to tank, like wanted to see if they could claim Nathan Peterman, but then thought, nah, that's too obvious.
Yeah.
And so they went with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Did you see Gruden's comments like 2 days ago on Nathan Peterman?
No, what were they?
He's like, oh, this guy's growing on me, man. He's growing on me.
Oh, my God. He wants to lose. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's a dumbass.
John, I have officially, with this last sip that I'm about to take, finished my glass of tequila.
I like it, man. I'm halfway through. I had a pretty big glass, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Did you
man.
see my cup? It is the size of my fist.
Yeah. It's a lot of gay references in one sentence. That's okay.
Dude, what is it with you and the gay stuff?
Oh, no, I'm pro-gay.
You're pro-gay?
Pro-gay.
I'm so fucking pro-gay that I fucking married one or some shit. You gonna say that next pod?
We'll see. It'd be nice to have a man around the house. I'll tell you
Honestly, though, I kind of envy those dudes sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And the worst.
Can we keep that in? I don't know.
Who have we pissed off this episode? Alabama, Walmart, homosexuals.
It's funny that we insult both Alabama and the gays. Like, at least we're not picking a side.
That's right. That's right. Because all the gays in Alabama had to leave because it's Alabama.
Yeah.
All right. Can we finish this list?
No. Okay. Yes. Go for it.
The worst offense in the 2019 year. The Washington Redskins.
Huh. Okay. I didn't expect them to be the worst on your list, but I don't see it. Tell me why. I don't see them as the very worst here. Huh?
Let's start there. Who's their quarterback?
Keenum.
I don't think it's going to be him.
No?
It's going to be Haskins, Keenum.
I think it's going to be Haskins?
And then maybe McCoy. McCoy took the first starter snaps, but whatever.
If it's... Oh, God. I think I just gagged. It's not going to be McCoy.
He took the first day.
There's no way. That's like hey, the other guys need to step up kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. But their wide receivers
I'm going to give you
are awful.
Bold take.
Go.
Case Keenum is not a bad quarterback.
With those receivers he is. Dude, they're bottom 5 wide receiver. Who's their receivers? We don't even know who their starters are. The only starter we know is Trey Quinn. That's it. Okay. Trey Quinn starting the slot. That's been announced. Outside
you still
of that,
think this is worse than the Giants? Is it just because you love Barkley in that offense and that's it?
Yeah, I think this is way worse than the Giants. Across the board. The only good thing that they have on this team was one of the best left tackles in the NFL, and they've completely screwed that over. No, this team sucks. Josh Dawson.
I can see it because they haven't moved in the right direction, and I'm looking at their total yards last year. They were 4th worst in the league. So if they take a little bit of a move back, yeah, man, they're like bottom 2. I see it.
Yeah. See?
Okay.
We are right.
And they were also 4th worst in points per game. I wasn't aware of this being this bad. This is sad. I'm sorry, Washington.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what I got.
Anything optimistic? Give me one good thing about the Redskins' offense in 2019.
I believe that Gruden is a very good quarterbacks coach. I do believe that. The problem is he has the worst GM in the NFL. The only good thing that will happen is they will be able to run the ball fairly well with Adrian Peterson and Geis if he is healthy. But that's it, man. That's it.
All right. I'm going to give you a difficult question to answer. Which of these bottom 5 teams for 2019, all right, we're looking long-term here. We're looking real long-term. This is a dynasty question. Which of these bottom 5 teams for 2019, the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Titans,
Jags
the
and
Jags, and the Arizona was 5-4? Giants. Okay, so Giants. Which of those teams will not be in the bottom 5 list for 2020?
I think I'm going to say the Giants. And the only reason why I'm going to say the Giants is because they actually have a very good offensive line. Their tight end, I think, is top 5 in the NFL and young. Sterling Shepard is decent and young. They're going to have one of the best running backs already. Daniel Jones will step in. I don't think he's going to be great, but he'll be more dynamic than Eli. So that would be the one, just because of the offensive line. The Giants have a good O-line.
And then let's do the reverse question of those top 5 offenses that you mentioned: Kansas City, LA, Indy, the other LA, and the Chargers. And then who did I miss?
Packers were 5.
The Packers. Which of those teams is least likely to be there in 2020?
2020? The Chargers, because if Rivers is gone, Geno Smith, Easton Stick, I think that's huge because Phillip Rivers is a beast. The other ones will keep their quarterbacks for the foreseeable.
What?
Who does?
You said Phillip Rivers is a beast. I said just ask his wife.
Oh, I see.
Because, he has a lot of kids and stuff. And
a lot of babies.
Lots of babies.
Mormons.
Is he Mormon?
No, but they have lots of kids.
Is Antonio Cromartie a Mormon?
Not allowed to be.
Didn't he have a vasectomy?
He had 2 kids afterwards.
This guy needs to ask some questions.
Yeah.
You gotta be asking questions, Cromartie. Some of those kids ain't yours.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm staying away.
All right, last question. Who has the smallest and who has the biggest penis in the NFL?
Okay, I'm back again to tell you just a little bit more about Nitrogen Sports. Again, the online Bitcoin sports betting site that's so easy to get your money out. It's one of the newest, best ways so that you could sports bet and get the profits that you need. And if you are somewhat hesitant, head over there and give it a shot. They have free pools, absolute free buy-in, no gimmicks, no anything, with guarantees around $2,000 in prizes for the winner. So if you just want to test it out and see how it works, click on their sport that you want to bet on, which they have every sport: NFL, NBA, NHL, soccer, tennis, mixed martial arts, whatever it is you want to bet on, they have that. Try their free pools to get started, and once you get more comfortable, they have everything all the way up to high-stakes nitrogen pool, which basically it's a one full Bitcoin buy-in, equivalent to about $10,000. So whatever you're willing to risk and whatever it is that gets your blood pumping, Nitrogen Sports has what you need. Head over to nitrogensports.eu and get started today, and make sure you let them know Eat Sleep Fantasy sent you their way.
Yeah, Eat Sleep Fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat Sleep Fantasy. Yeah, Eat Sleep Fantasy. Eat Sleep Fantasy.